A warm welcome to the newsroom. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The Kogi State government has inaugurated Justice Henry Olusuyi as the Chief Judge of the state. The swearing-in ceremony was held on Wednesday in Lokoja, the state capital. This comes 5 days after Governor Bello approved Olasuyi's appointment in acting capacity. The position became vacant following the death of Justice Nasser Anjana on June 29. Meanwhile, Governor Bello has approved the appointment of Bayo Olusegun as the acting president of the State Customary Court of Appeal. Olusegun's appointment also followed the demise of the former occupant of the office, Shaibu Atadoga, who died on June 22nd. The Federal Executive Council is holding its 6th virtual meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, the nation's capital. The meeting, which is being chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, has in attendance Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Gambari, and 11 ministers. Other ministers are taking part from their respective offices in Abuja. Before discussions began at the meeting, a minute of silence was observed in honor of former Minister of Sports and former member of the National Working Committee of the APC, who served as Vice President Northwest, Inwa Abdulkader. He died on Monday. Some policemen attached to the Force Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department have retrieved some items from the home of suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu. The police officers had on Tuesday evening searched the residence of the EFCC boss at Karu site on the outskirts of Abuja and made away with vital documents. Magu, who is currently under probe by a presidential panel at the Presidential Villa, was on Tuesday suspended by President Muhammadu Buhari. The suspended EFCC boss, who was detained by police after Monday's interrogation, was returned to the police custody at 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday. He is accused of gross infractions, including diversion of recovered loot. Minister of State for Labour, Festus Keyamo, has expressed displeasure over the directive of Senate President Ahmed Lawan that the Nigeria Directorate for Employment, NDE, should take over the recruitment of 774,000 Nigerians from all local government areas of the country. Lawan, after meeting with Minister of Labour Chris Ngige on Tuesday, gave the directives, adding that all work in progress should be suspended and started afresh. But addressing State House correspondents after that meeting, Keyamo said the directive was against the NDE Act and the constitutional provision on separation of power.
The minister shall inaugurate committees, shall constitute committees for the NDE. The Director General of NDE has no such powers to constitute committees by law. He has no such powers under the law. So when you now say go back and do your work plan and come, are you telling the Director General to break the law? Are you telling the General to disobey his appointee, which is the President? Are you telling the Director General to disobey his immediate boss, which is the Minister? So that is where we are on this issue. So I will go back to my employer, Mr. President. Mr. President will give directives. The directives as to execution of a project is not binding on me. The directives of the National Assembly is not binding on me. This is a great constitutional issue that will go to the Attorney General at the end of the day for interpretation. Except, like I said, Mr. President says I should step aside and allow them hijack the process. Because the game, like you have seen today, is simply that they are conniving with a certain functionary of government to design the program, hijack the program against the wishes of Nigerians. Hijack it, and that is what I have been against. And I will continue to stand by that. I am sorry, I apologize, these are very distinguished members, but the law is the law.
The federal government says it's not going back on its plans to close the third mainland bridge for 6 months to enable contractors carry out repairs on it. Speaking at a news conference in Lagos, Comptroller of Works Federal Ministry of Works, Olukayode Popola, said the bridge was last rehabilitated in 2012, which was about 8 years ago, adding that there was need to carry out the repairs to avert collapse. He said the first 3 months would be used to carry out work on the part of the bridge coming from the Lagos Island to the mainland, while work on the other portion of the bridge coming from Oroshoki to Lagos Island would begin 3 months later. The bridge will be closed on July 24th, 2020. We'll take a break here to bring you more stories. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Dr. Taufik Adeyemi, consultant orthopedic spine surgeon at National Orthopedic Hospital, Globally, Lagos. I'm here on the platform of Scoliosis Focus Initiative program on World Scoliosis Day. Scoliosis is an abnormal sideway curvature of the spine with some rotation. These patients present with uneven shoulders, a hump in the back, and uneven pelvis. Majority of these cases are painless. Up to 5% of our population have scoliosis, and majority of them are idiopathic, meaning that the cause is unknown. You need a thorough history examination with quality X-ray to make an assessment. Your doctor will advise you on the best treatment modality for your child. Scoliosis Focus Initiative is organizing a 2-week free online consultation to help you during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Welcome back. Let's now look at our COVID-19 update. Kwara State government has asked its officials who had contact with the late Chief of Staff Aminu Logun in the past 2 weeks to proceed on self-isolation while their samples are taken for COVID-19 tests. In a statement by the Commissioner for Communication, the government also suspended physical meetings of any kind on official matters until further notice, directing increased use of virtual platforms for such engagement in order to limit physical contact. Kwara Chief of Staff Abdulrazak Abdurrahman died on Tuesday. Logan died on Tuesday from COVID-19 complications. General Overseer of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, Temitokbe Joshua, that's TB Joshua, has offered to virtually pray for COVID-19 patients in isolation centers across the world. The cleric, in an announcement on the church's YouTube channel, Emmanuel TV, urged government and medical authorities to organize those who are in isolation and arrange how to connect them to Emmanuel TV. Since starting its interactive prayer, in which online prayers is offered via video calls, Joshua's ministry has prayed for COVID-19 patients from around the world, including citizens of USA, South Africa, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Honduras, and Cuba. A total of 200 COVID-19 patients have been discharged in the last 24 hours, bringing Nigeria's total number of recoveries to 12,108. This is at the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) confirmed 503 new infections in 20 states and the Federal Capital Territory on Tuesday. The agency also reported that 15 patients have died of COVID-19 complications across the country in the past 24 hours. With 79 deaths in the past week, a total of 669 people have now died of COVID-19 complications. Meanwhile, 29,879 confirmed cases of the virus have been recorded in all Nigerian states and the FCT. With a welcome passport sticker and coronavirus test on arrival, Dubai reopens its doors to international visitors on Tuesday with the hope of reviving its tourism industry after a nearly 4-month closure. The reopening comes as the number of COVID-19 cases in the United Arab Emirates climbed to 52,600, including 326 deaths. Incoming tourists are required to present a negative test result taken within 4 days of the flight. If not, they can take the test on arrival but must self-isolate until they receive the all clear. We'll take another break here to bring you business stories and more. Welcome back. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FRS, has extended the closing date of tax debt repayment in the country. In a statement issued on Wednesday by FRS Director of Communications Abdullahi Ahmed, said the agency moved its waiver of penalty and interest window on tax debt owed by individuals and businesses from June 30 to August 31st. He noted that the agency's boss, Mohammed Nami, approved the extension as follow-up to a number of palliative measures devised by the FRS to cushion the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Nigerian economy. The FRS chairman explained that the extension applies to tax auditing, investigation and debt review, assessment, and approved installment payment plans under voluntary asset and income declaration schemes yet to be fully liquidated. 6 candidates are vying to become the next head of the World Trade Organization, WTO. The 6 candidates are former Nigerian Foreign and Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, South Korean Trade Minister Yu Myung-hee, Kenya's former Foreign Minister Amina Mohammed, Mexico's former WTO Deputy Director General Jesus Saad, Egyptian former diplomat Hamid Modu, and former Moldovan Foreign Minister Tudor Yulianovsky. The new chief must revive stalled trade talks, lay the ground for the 2021 Ministerial Conference, one of the WTO's major events, and soften relations with Washington. The window to enter the race slammed shut on Wednesday in a speeded-up contest to replace the outgoing WTO Director General Roberto Acevedo, who is stepping down 1 year early at the end of August. U.S. President Donald Trump has formally started the withdrawal of the United States from the World Health Organization. The United States is the largest financial contributor to the WHO, which leads the fight on global maladies. After threatening to suspend the $400 million in annual U.S. contributions and then announcing a withdrawal, Trump has formally informed U.S. Secretary General Antonio Guterres that he has started the U.S. pullout. Stefan Duraki, the spokesperson for Guterres, confirmed that the United States gave its notice on the conditions set when the United States entered the World Health Organization in 1948. Washington has to give 1 year notice to pull out and meet its remaining assessed financial obligations. Eric Dier has been suspended for 4 games after he confronted a fan following Tottenham's FA Cup 5th round loss to Norwich City. The England international was also fined £40,000 with a ban coming into play with immediate effect. The midfielder jumped over the advertising hoardings and into the stands to chase down the fan following the penalty shootout loss in March, with footage of the incident going viral on social media. According to the FA, Dier had admitted that his actions were improper but not aggressive, a claim which the English Football Authority did not agree with. Spurs were beaten at home by the Premier League's bottom club on penalties after the game had finished 1-1 after extra time. And that's the latest from the newsroom. Many thanks for joining us. Bye for now.